Hello and welcome to the Alaska Seminar Series hosted by me, Valerie Stimmick-Bailey. I run the travel blog Valerie and Valise. And if you are tuned into this, you're either on my YouTube channel or you are on the Travel Juneau YouTube channel and you are looking for advice about Juneau. I'm so excited to help you plan your trip to Juneau, give you information that you need. And I'm joined today by Kristi Switzer, who is the Destination Marketing Manager for Travel Juneau. Kristi actually did not the same video, but she did a video with me last year, and I'm so excited that she's back again this year. She's going to be teaching you all about things to do in Juneau and what you need to know if you are visiting in 2026, because there's always new and exciting things happening in Juneau, and this is the video that is going to give you the most up-to-date information directly from the source. This is a pre-recorded video, so if you are watching this and you have questions, if you're watching it on YouTube, you can post your questions as comments. If you are listening to the audio-only version, the best way to get in touch with me or with Travel Juneau is going probably on Instagram. You could also do Facebook if that's what you prefer. I'm at Valerie Valise on Instagram, and Travel Juneau is at Travel Juneau, so that's really easy. You can always comment there on a post or reach out via DM if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, you can head over to YouTube and leave your comment there. I think that just about covers my housekeeping. I like to keep these short and sweet and get out of the way. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Kristi to teach us all about visiting Juneau next year.
Thank you, Valerie. I really appreciate it. Just one note, Facebook is at Travel Juneau and Instagram is at Travel Juneau AK. So a little bit of a difference there, but you can find us there, and I am happy to answer any questions that come up. That's what we're here for. So so just jumping right in, the first thing that visitors need to know is you can order a travel planner. It's free, shipping, no shipping or anything in the US and Canada. All you need to do is go to our website and sign up for one. There's a little orange button in the top right hand corner, and you can just click on that and it'll take you right to the sign up page, and we'll get one of those in the mail to you. This is the cover of the new 2026 travel planner. We've got bubble feeding whales this year, which is different from our sunset version we had last year, so kind of fun. And this will be available in January. I was just at the printer, so it's looking good, and we'll have it ready to go by January so we can get you a copy. It's probably the best way to just sit down and be able to browse information about Juneau, information about wildlife viewing, and pretty much anything that you could imagine that you wanted to do in Juneau. So you can also look at it online. As soon as it's available in print, I'll upload the new version online as well. So probably the most basic thing that people need to know is you can't drive here. So if you're looking for a road trip, the only kind of road trip you're going to be able to do is if you put your car on the ferry and come up that way, because there is no road in or out of Juneau. You can fly in. We have Alaska Airlines and Delta Airlines that fly in here daily in the summer. And then, of course, the Alaska Marine Highway System, which if you look at a map, it looks like a series of bridges. It's not. It's a boat, and you put your car on there and you can ferry up, and it is absolutely one of the most fun ways to travel throughout Southeast Alaska, if you ask me. I highly recommend sleeping in the solarium, bringing a sleeping bag. It's a lot of fun. Meet a lot of really great people, and so getting here is kind of half the fun. We're only a 2-hour direct flight from Seattle, or if you just happen to be already in Anchorage, we're about 2.5 hours direct from Anchorage. So that's super close. It's a lot we're a lot closer than you think, basically. So information that you might need to know is that Juneau, I mean, we've been hosting cruise ship visitors or ship visitors and visitors of all kinds since late 1800s when the gold rush was a thing. Early 1900s, we had big stern wheelers coming up. So having people come in and out of our town to visit is not new for us, and we're very well established in providing a variety of attractions to fit almost any need that you have. So plan for 3 to 6 days. If you could see my list, and in fact, if you email me, if you just email info@alaska, info@traveljuneau.com, I will send you a destination overview that I just kind of put together for my own edification and that for that of the media. But it's basically a list of all the different things that you can do. And there's even tidbits that you won't find anywhere else because they're pretty special and kind of quirky. So if you're looking for something really to kind of glance at one pager to understand what sorts of things are available, I can send that to you direct. Just let me know. So plan for 3 to 6 days. And when you get your travel planner, you can kind of go through there and mark the things that you might be interested in. We also have in there 6 different itineraries just to kind of give you a sample of how you might spend your time here in Juneau. If you're all about glaciers, there's a whole glacier itinerary. If you're all about family, there's some family activities for a 4 or 5 day stay. So there's just a wide range of things that you can look at for inspiration. Plan a few extra days because this is the middle of the Tongass, Alaska rainforest, and this is a 17 million acre rainforest, and it rains. That's what it does here. So you should always plan on rain. If you get a glorious sunny day, then consider yourself lucky, and it's wonderful when we get them. But for the most part, it rains. Now, it's not generally like a downpour. It's kind of a misty sort of rain. Sometimes days a little harder than others, but definitely allow yourself some extra time, because if you're doing something that requires good visibility like flying, there is a chance that you could be weathered out, and so you'll have an extra day. So pro tip is just do it early in the week, and that way if for some reason you're weathered out, you can try and reschedule for later in the week during your trip. The other pro tip is definitely rent a car. It's so much fun, especially, all year long, actually. Sometimes for fun, Juneauites just drive to the end of the road. That's what we do. It's spectacular in any kind of weather condition. And, the chances of seeing bears, of course, lots of eagles, and, even whales from the side of the road, you can sometimes see them out in the channel. There is really a lot of opportunity to kind of get out and experience what Juneau is really about. Plus, you're looking at about 30 miles of road that most people don't ever get to when they come to visit Juneau. So it's, stop by Jerry's Meats and Seafood and pick up some salmon dip and some crackers and head out the road and have a little picnic or snack stop at Eagle Beach or somewhere along the way. Let's see, cruise visitors. We have a lot of cruise visitors that come to town, so it's worth saying to understand that you cannot get it all done in one port of call. We have so much to choose from, so pick something that is your focus and focus on that, and allow yourself time on either end to be able to stop and enjoy a snack or a meal, go up the tram, something like that. But it's best to plan that in advance. And many of the cruise lines do sell out of their excursions. So it's always a good idea to plan ahead and remember that you can book direct too. I know that there is some discussion about the fact that cruise lines will leave you at the dock if you're not back on time. Well, our people have been serving visitors for decades and decades, and I don't know anybody yet that's had anybody not show up on time for the dock. That's what they plan around. So even if your cruise ship adjusts its time coming in, they will adjust their times accordingly and be able to help work with you so that you can have your excursion and still get back to the ship in time, even though it's a compressed time period. It's also important to note that 98% of the businesses in downtown Juneau are locally owned, and many of them are mom and pop shops. So, I think that there are some myths out there that don't need to be perpetuated here, but just know that they're locally owned and operated. This is how they make their living 6 months out of the year, and then the rest of the time they're open for visitors that come in off season, or perhaps it's a seasonal business that does happen, of course. But most of those stores downtown are open year round. bring a real raincoat, folks. Don't bring your Disneyland version of, your cape or whatever those things are that have the little hoods. If it's windy for any reason or if it's really rainy, you're just going to wish you had a real raincoat. That way you can still get out and do all the things that you want to do out in the rain. I mean, that's what we do. People say, well, what do you do when it rains? Maybe down south you stay inside when it rains, but that's not what we do. We just get out in it. It's not that bad, and I promise you won't melt. Some other just tips that I think that are helpful, not just for you and your safety, but also for us that are residents of this area, is please stay on the sidewalk. Don't jaywalk. Follow the crossing guard. The crossing guards are downtown for your safety to make sure you can cross the street safely. It also helps with the flow of traffic because our barges are at one end and the town is at the other end. And so to get those goods to market, they have to come through downtown. So just be aware. I know that it's a lot when you get off a boat and you look up and there's all these mountains, and it's just awe-inspiring that it could feel super easy to fall out into the street. Please don't do that. And also don't crowd the bears. Yes, it's possible you're going to see bears in downtown Juneau. They often wander around downtown Juneau, as well as other areas. So just don't crowd them. Give them their space. It's very dangerous when they feel cornered. So I know everybody wants that amazing National Geographic shot, but just trust me, it's not bear petting season. Don't take pictures that are going to put you in danger. So just back up, give them room, observe them, and enjoy that opportunity, because this is a wild place and we have wild spaces here. So we live together with the wildlife, and we try not to crowd them at all. And then hiking. It's really important that you do not overestimate your abilities. It's a little bit different hiking up here. We have steep drop-offs. It can be muddy and slippery if it's been raining for a while. There can be small landslides. Just talk to the people at the visitor center. They can give you some updates and information on local trails that are safe for you to take. Pay attention, and also make sure you've got water with you, that you're dressed appropriately, that you have an extra layer, and also let people know where you're going and when you're expected to be back. That's really important. We do that when we go out on the water. We do that when we're going anywhere, because this, again, is a wild place. And so often things can happen. So you just want to make sure that you are extra careful. We want to see you have a great time, and then live to tell about it. So please just be careful. Oh my goodness, what is there to do in Juneau? There's so much. We have so many interesting things, and I swear every day I learn something new about this place. We've got providers around here that will customize a tour to anything that you really want to do. If you've got something in your mind that you're not really finding a tour that's set up that would check all those boxes that you want to get checked, then certainly we can put you in touch with somebody that can customize pretty much almost anything you want to do. Realistically, of course. We have a great respect and appreciation for Alaska Native culture here in Juneau. The Tlingit and the Haida and the Tsimshian clans throughout Southeast have definitely been stewards of the land since time immemorial, and we have learned so much from them about living together with the land, and I hope that you will make time to view and understand their culture. I think one of the gems of Juneau is the Walter Soboleff House. Or the Walter Soboleff building. If you go down there, it's like $7 to get in, folks. I mean, it's a bargain at any price. You can go in and be inside a real clan house that was hand hewn. There are over 1 million adze marks where it was chopped away using regular tools that they have used for, a really long time. And it just kind of gives you a glimpse into the culture and a better understanding of this land that they've inhabited since before we got here. So I think that's really important. We've got totems. We've got a totem pole walk, the Kutia Dai, along the waterfront on the Seawalk. There are now 14 totem poles in that. There are planning 30, so we're almost halfway there. We've got, of course, whale watching. We have one of the largest whale watching fleets in the world. And we've got great wildlife viewing. There was one day I counted 100 eagles between my house and downtown in 15 minutes. So it's pretty incredible. Flying is one of my favorite ways to see Juneau because I love flying over the ice field and seeing all those different glaciers. It's just beautiful. It's picturesque. You can even land on a glacier if you take a helicopter tour and get out and walk around. It's really kind of a phenomenal opportunity if you're going to go ahead and make that investment. Fishing, of course, is always good. Halibut, we have 5 species of salmon here, all 5 species. And, there's some other miscellaneous and sundry things you might catch in the process of fishing for those, and they're all equally tasty. The gold rush history here is rich. We have probably 5 or 6 different both tours and areas that have still ruins from the gold rush era. And that is, if you're at all remotely interested in history, that is something that I highly recommend that you take a look at. We've got city sightseeing tours. We've got food tours. And who doesn't like to eat a little bite of the local foods when they travel somewhere? That's kind of like part of the fun of it. That's kind of why I go places. And then, of course, glacier viewing. We have the Mendenhall Glacier. It's right in town. We've got about 39 glaciers in this local area. If you go out whale watching or fishing, you'll see a couple more nearby town. There's one in Lemon Creek. But the Mendenhall Glacier is kind of special to us because that's where we recreate all year long. And you can go out there and walk out to Nugget Falls, which is really becoming quite the trek for folks. They really enjoy going there. And of course, seeing the Mendenhall Glacier. Out at the Mendenhall Glacier, you might also take advantage of the fact that we have cultural ambassadors out there. So one of the local native tribes has ambassadors that go out there and they talk to you about their relationship to the land, the culture, local arts and crafts. Sometimes they've got samples where they're showing you these items and you can ask them anything that you want. Just ask them a bunch of questions. You will be amazed what you can learn about the Alaska Native culture and also about Juneau via that point of view. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that. Of course, there are all kinds of ways you can see the glacier from the air. You can drive out there. You can take boats or canoes or kayaks or river rafting. And then maybe you are looking for something a little bit more hands-on. They've got some cooking classes now, so you can learn to cook wild Alaska seafood at the Jorgensen House. Breathe Alaska does a wellness tour if that's your thing. It's a wonderful walk down one of my favorite trails, and you can go to the beach and then she leads you through some breathing exercises and in one of the most beautiful locations in Juneau. It's one of my favorite areas, and I have to tell you, I've never felt more connected to the land. Even though I've been here since 1990, I've never felt so connected to the land as I was during that tour when I tried that out. So that's a pretty cool thing. If that's your thing, you're going to love it. We have a variety of makers here in town. We've got 4 breweries, which is a lot for a little town of 32,000, and 2 distilleries and 1 local coffee roaster. We've got hiking and biking tours. We have a city museum, which kind of focuses on Juneau's history and the Gold Rush era. It's got some hands-on children's exhibits, which is really cool. And we also have the world-class Alaska State Museum, where you can see kind of the state of Alaska as well as Juneau, from canneries to Alaska Native culture to lighthouses. I mean, you name it, it's kind of covered in there. It's a beautiful facility, well worth it. It's not it's not very expensive, and it's a wonderful thing to do if you're not really into the rain and it happens to be raining that day. So it's a good way to get out of the rain and just enjoy still learning about this amazing place where we live. So new this year, we have hot tub boats, which I've never done it yet, but it's on my list of things to do because I just think that sounds like so much fun. You just hop in a hot tub. It's literally a boat with a big old hot tub in it for up to, 5 of your closest friends, so 6 people total, and you just can take it out and tootle around the channel and marvel at the mountains in the town of Juneau and the city of Douglas across the way on Douglas Island, and it's going to be a really unique addition to our tours. They also have go boats, which are scheduled to. They remind me a little bit of like bumper cars, kind of, but they're little boats that you can take out on the lake and over at Auk Lake, which is a little bit further past downtown. But it sounds like a lot of fun too. We have a little bit of everything for everybody, hard and soft adventure. We have dog sledding both on the ground here at sea level as well as up on top of the glaciers, which is rather spectacular if that's your thing. Plus, there always seems to be puppies in the summer, and so if you're into sled dog puppies, I highly recommend. It'll lift your spirits if you're having a rough day for sure. And we've got award-winning food, beverages, and restaurants. So, of course, our breweries. That I feel like I'm always reading about all the different awards that they've won. And then we have so many great restaurants. I was starting a list the other day and it was like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten at half these places and I live here. But we've got some James Beard nominated chef here in town. He's been nominated 7 times. He has in Boca al Lupo. We've got the number 3 taco in the nation at Deckhand Dave's, which is a little food truck court in downtown. After the bars close, it's a great time to go to Pelmani if you're here. Not on a ship, and so you're here for some time. When the bars close, everybody goes to Pelmani, which is little Russian dumplings, and they're fantastic. Nice little snack to kind of balance things out for you. So there's a lot to do, as you can see, and this is only just the very beginning. I would need like days to talk to y'all about everything. So what's new, though, for 2026 is, as I mentioned, the hot tub boats and the go boats. There are going to be some behind-the-scenes Alaskan Brewing Company VIP tours. I am waiting on some details about how that's going to happen, but that's something that most people don't get to go behind the scenes at a brewery that size. They're celebrating 40 years old this year, and they were, still in kind of the same footprint of where they started back in 1986. But it's really pretty spectacular to see what they've done, and I think the sustainability angle for all of the things that they do to innovate and meet the challenges of brewing in a place with no roads is pretty interesting. If you're a hiker or a mountain biker and you've got your mountain bike with you, the historic Treadwell Ditch Trail was just joined finally for the first time in over a century. So I encourage you to get out and hike it. Make sure you leave a hiking plan. But it is a almost 14-mile trail from one end from Eagle Crest area, which is our community ski area, all the way down to downtown Douglas. And that trail used to bring water from the Eagle Crest area down into the town of Treadwell, which was based in Douglas Island. And now, of course, it's been turned into this trail and people have hiked it for a long time, but sometimes it wasn't always well marked. So now it's all been done. It's beautiful. And you can hike sections of it, or you can go ahead and set out and hike the whole thing. And then when you wind up in Douglas, go have a beer at Louie's or something. You've earned it. Trust me. Custom tours, if you can dream it, you can do it. Give our office a call. We're always happy to put you in touch with folks that put together custom tours or custom events. If you want to do a proposal or you want to check off 3 or 4 things off your list in a certain amount of time, we can work with you to try and help you make that happen by introducing you to some of our partners that do that kind of thing. Let's see, Alaskan on Tap. That's a newer brewery tour. You visit 3 breweries and 1 distillery. So that's not necessarily new this year. It started last year, but it's new enough that I thought we could include it. And then On Hit is that stands for Village House, and that is home to Sacred Grounds, which is a coffee place. There are 2 locations now for Sacred Grounds, but it's located directly downtown, and it also houses an Indigenous artist market, which is kind of exciting. So if you really want to talk with artists and look at their wares, that's a good place to do it. The Sea Alaska Heritage Institute also has a gift shop, which has exceptionally beautiful art available for purchase. And if nothing else, it sort of feels like you're shopping in a museum. I love going in there to see what's new and what's different. They also have some really great books about local culture that make good gifts for grandchildren and children back home if they're not with you. So that's what's new for 2026. 2026 events. We have an events page on our website. I know a lot of people reference that. It's one of our top pages. There are a lot of things coming down the pike. We always have something going on. We have the annual Folk Festival. It'll be the 51st year this year. Maritime Festival. We've got a symphony in town, which some people say 32,000 people, and you have a symphony. We do, and it's exceptional. Juneau Gold Rush Days kind of harkens back to the way things were during the gold rush, and there's logging and mining competitions that take place over the course of those 2 days. And then 4th of July is a really big deal here. It was the one day that they shut down for the miners to take the day off back at the turn of the century. And so it's remained a huge holiday for us. It's very small town feel with the parade and everything. But we have our fireworks show the night before the 4th of July, because you got to remember that we have long daylight hours in the summertime. And so in order to be able to see the fireworks, we start the fireworks actually at 11:59 p.m. On the 3rd, so that we see them into the 4th. And it's really cool. You can watch from downtown, bring your folding chairs and set up someplace so you can see them. We also have, locals like to go out on their boats and anchor up in the what normally would house cruise ships, I suppose. And they just kind of anchor up and barbecue and enjoy watching the fireworks. If you're a runner, we have the Juneau Marathon, which is a qualifying race for the Boston Marathon. So if you are into that and you want to run the Boston Marathon, this is kind of a cool place to come and run a marathon. We also have a triathlon in August, early August, with 3 different distances. It's a short, an Olympic, and a long. I think that's right. I'm not a runner, but it's pretty amazing. They swim in Auk Lake, and then they run and they bike all the way out the road, out by the glacier. It's really pretty spectacular to watch folks participate in that. And then, of course, the holidays. We have a ton of stuff going on during the holidays. So if you're ever looking for like a long weekend or Thanksgiving weekend, you want to come up, we've got a lot of markets that provide opportunities for locally and statewide made products that you might not find anywhere else. So we are, I guess maybe I should have moved this up to the front. We're a town of 32,000. We are a maritime climate, so we have fairly mild summers and fairly mild winters, considering the rest of the state. And we're a welcoming city. We have scored perfect score on the Human Rights Commission Equality Index for a number of years in a row. If you fly up here in the wintertime, the ski area is open and you're a skier, you can ski for free. There are also no lines, no parking fees, any of those kinds of things. You can just come into town, take the early flight, from Seattle and get here and take your boarding pass right up to the ski area, and you can ski for free. That's pretty awesome, I think. So if you come for a long weekend, that would be kind of the way I would make sure that you set things up. So you fly in, ski for free, and then the lift passes for the other days are not very expensive, but we're also part of the Icon pass thing and one other kind that I don't know what the name is, but they are partners, I think, where you can go all over ski areas and ski everywhere with that pass. We are the largest capital city in the U.S., and we've been the capital since 1906. We were actually the territorial capital. It was Sitka prior to us, and then Juneau. And in fact, if you go to the governor's mansion, if you're up here during the holidays and go during the Christmas meet and greet, governor's open house, if you look over the fireplace, there's still the territorial seal, because that, as well as our capital, were built when we were still a territory. And then we're also, for the birders out there, part of the Audubon Society's Southeast Alaska Birding Trail. There are over 350 bird species here. And so in addition to the beloved bald eagles that you will see all over town, you will see lots of other birds that you might not have off your list yet. So we can help with that. I also want to make sure that we talk about arts and culture, because not just Alaska Native culture, which is, very near and dear to my heart, and we are the Northwest Coast arts capital of the world, but we also have a variety of different ways to experience culture in town. We have 4 professional theaters, 2 dance companies, a lyric opera, and a symphony. We also have a variety of different bands, community choruses. I mean, you name it. There is something going on all the time when it comes to arts and culture in this town. We have music festivals, Alaska Folk Fest, Juneau Jazz and Classics, and then, of course, the Gallery Walk, which is the weekend after Thanksgiving, and the stores downtown, they're all lit up for the holidays, and they've got their doors open, and the whole town comes out, and when you stroll around and look at new art and meet artists and do a little shopping and listen to some Victorian carolers and drink a little hot apple cider, it's just really a great big fun event that's definitely worth catching if you get the opportunity. All right, so I already told you about my hot tip about See Alaska's Walter Soboleff building, but other things that I consider to be insider tips would be popular hiking trails, which you can see here. I did not add, it doesn't look like, the new, oh, well, I guess it does say Treadwell. So the Treadwell Ditch Trail. The best sunset spot, depending on who you talk to, is either North Douglas or Lena Beach, sometimes Inspiration Point, which is way out the road. Local black bears. Everybody says, I want to see a bear. How do I see bears? Well, you just sort of come across them. I mean, they are wild. We can't really cue them to come on and satisfy those requests. But if you come during like April or May, whenever the dandelions are out, that's when I like to ride out to the end of the road and back. I once saw like 9 bears in one drive back and forth. Because they're coming out of their dens. There's no salmon spawning yet, and so they're eating whatever fresh greens are available, and they seem to love dandelions, and they're just so cute. So if you are driving carefully and you spot that people are pulled over with their blinkers on, chances are they've spotted a bear. Don't crowd them, give them some room, but you can observe them briefly before you move on looking for some more. Eagles, they're going to be everywhere. We have just different areas of town that have more than others, of course, but anytime that you are near a spawning area, or if you go to Diepack, which is our local fish hatchery, there are eagles everywhere. Diepack's also a great place to not only take a tour and learn all about the life cycle of a salmon, which is key to our industry here, fishing, but there are seals that like to just pop up and get a quick and easy meal in front of the hatchery. So that's kind of fun to watch them too. And then Eagle Beach is one of my favorite picnic spots. So, like I said earlier, grab some salmon dip or stop by Breeze Inn and pick up a sandwich and drive out to Eagle Beach and just enjoy being out in nature. Is where a lot of us go at low tide. You do have to watch. At low tide, you can walk way out, but you have to be conscious of the incoming tide or you catch yourself there. So I guess seems like a lot, but but there is a lot. That's the thing. So Gunuchish and Hawa, we appreciate you spending the time with us today. Of course, if we can be of any help at all, just drop us a note or give us a call here at the office. Our visitor services folks, pretty much, they know way more than me. So they can help you come up with ideas or generate sort of a game plan based on what your needs are or what your interests are. So I guess that's about it. Do you have any questions, Valerie?
All right. No, thank you. I mean, I do have questions. I said no, but I do have questions. But I just want to call out, like, maybe people notice we're pretty small when your slides are on the screen, but I take notes during these calls too. And I have so many notes about things I want to do that are new since I was just there in September of 2024. We're recording this in November of 2025. It's going to be released next month. And it's like, there's already a new to-do list for next time I'm back, which I just love. I love about doing these videos and I love about Juneau. It's like I said, there's always something new. I did want to call out, and I think you kind of got to it, just that it is the capital. So that does bring a little bit of something extra to Juneau compared to some of the other Southeast communities. So if you are interested in that sort of cultural history of Juneau, there's a lot to experience. I mean, the State Museum, you can go to the Capitol. I think it was several years you had to kind of either you couldn't tour or it was like a DIY tour. But I think as of this past year, they are doing guided tours again. You can go to the governor's mansion when it's open. So lots of options there, which I think is really neat.
Yeah, and I'll also mention, and I was not aware of this actually until just like a couple of years ago, but if you go into the Capitol building, which it's probably one of the only non-domed Capitol buildings anywhere because it was built for the territory, but if you go in there, it has a fantastic collection of amazing artwork on the walls, and each one of the pieces of art is accompanied by a sign with a QR code so you can learn more about the art, the artist, and also its significance in the development of art about Alaska, which I found fascinating and had never really thought about. There are some that are where people are the focus, and there are other things where landscape is the focus, and it talks about all of the reasonings and the history of how that developed. And it's fascinating if you're at all into art. And there are some beautiful pieces there. So
amazing. That's another insider tip because I did not know that they had sort of made it publicly accessible that way. And I will say, you might have just seen a little bubble pop up in the corner of your screen if you're viewing this. That's been happening kind of on and off. Those are just links I think are going to be helpful for you. So there were some discount codes that showed up a little while ago. And then the article that is just gone away, that is for an article that connects Kotzebue and Juneau. I don't know if the item is on display, and Kristi, I don't know if you're going to know this. I get to the Q&A eventually, but I just love talking about Juneau. Do you know if they still have the famous jade lamp that was used at the signing of the statehood constitutional convention? Do you know if they have that there?
I don't know.
Okay. Really cool connection because the jade that people think of in Alaskan jade, if it's Alaskan jade, it comes from the Kotzebue area. And so while I was in Kotzebue in 2025, I like nerded out about Kotzebue. So I have this story about jade in Kotzebue that you would have just seen. But if you see something interesting, that's why you got to watch if you're on YouTube because they're going to be up in the corners. But let's get to Q&A. Again, as a reminder, if you have questions, just put them in the comments and I will make sure they get answered if I don't know the answer. You did answer one of the questions already about bears. So we're not going to do that one because that was great. You covered exactly what the person was asking. I do want to ask this question because I think it is a great one, and it is something that people commonly have a misconception about in Alaskan cruise ports in general, but it's a great one that we can address specifically with Juneau. So what Anne is asking is if they want to kind of DIY their cruise excursions, who should they book through? Which you don't have to call it a specific company, but what I want to address here before I let you answer is that unlike some cruise ports around the world, where when you step off the boat, you're kind of in like a Disneyland of the cruise company, like they own all the storefronts. They own all the excursion companies. You already addressed this, Kristi, that the vast majority of businesses in Juneau are not owned by the cruise companies. There are a few, what they can get, because Alaskans are very proud to create authentic experiences, even in their cruise ports. So most of the operators are locals. They're not cruise operated. Most of the shops are locally owned. They're not run by the cruise companies. So given all that preface, how do you want to address this question from Anne about which glacier experiences are available for kind of independent cruise passengers?
So you're speaking about specifically the Mendenhall Glacier, correct?
Well, I don't know exactly which glacier Anne's asking about. I think in general, like, are there cruises? Are there independent Mendenhall tours? Let's kind of cover it all at a high level.
Oh my gosh, yes, there are so many ways that you can see them. And there are canoes, kayaks, rafts that you can do in the Mendenhall Glacier area. You can take a cab, even if you wanted to do more of a custom tour. There's some local cab companies and cab drivers that will give you a local view. They've lived here a long time and they're happy to take you around. They'll point out not only the history and of course the sites and all of those things, but their favorite things and what makes Juneau special for them, which I think is what makes them special to go out with. You can fly helicopters. You can take a float plane over top. There's one, Wings of Alaska, Taku Glacier Lodge, Salmon Bake, where you can take a float plane and fly over 5 glaciers, and then you land in this remote area, and your cell phone will not work. It's a great way to spend an afternoon, if you ask me. And you land there, and it's literally you have a freshly baked salmon, and everything is homemade, and you're sitting there eating that while you're just staring at the terminus of this massive glacier. And I just don't think there are many places in the world that you can do that. It's just stunning. And it's a lot of fun to fly over the ice field. There's so much uncharted territory where probably people have never been, and probably, people wouldn't want to necessarily go you'd have to be very well trained, of course. But it's, one of my favorite ways to take people to see the glaciers here in the area. Another thing is there is a day cruise that you can take with Ellen Marine, also known as TrueAlaskanTours.com. And it's a day trip. It's about 6 to 8 hours. You leave around, I want to say 9 a.m. and then you come back in the early evening, late afternoon. But it takes you up near up the Tracy Arm, and then there are all kinds of glaciers up there, and depending on the time of year determines how close they can get and that kind of stuff. But they're going to get closer than your cruise ships, just by virtue of the size of their boats. So that's a really fun thing to do, and it's one of my favorite ways to see that. And I think people say there's no day cruise to Glacier Bay, and I actually believe that once a month they do go out as a day cruise for Glacier Bay. But I'll tell you, most of the people on board there are locals. So if you want to go see Glacier Bay with locals, that's a great thing to be able to do. You would have to check True Alaskan Tours and just see what that schedule is. I know I missed out on getting to go this year because I waited too long, but it's a real reasonable and well worthwhile program to go out there and see another. I mean, it's not that far away from us, but it's another world in many ways. And I think that's kind of the same thing that could be said for most of Southeast Alaska. We all have our little specialties and our things that are that the people are the same but different. The landscape is the same but different. So it's just really a variety of ways to experience glaciers here. Pretty much anything you can think of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, land, sea, or air, all are options, and all are operated by Alaskan companies.
Exactly. Yes.
Cool. Okay, I have one more question. We'll just do one more. So this is a question from Chelsea. I do not know this. I'm not gluten-free, though. If I were traveling with my mother, I would be doing the exact same research because she is gluten-free. Do you know off the top of your head, maybe like 2 or 3 restaurants that have good gluten-free options?
Not off the top of my head because I eat gluten, but what comes to mind is fresh seafood and vegetables, which you can get at probably most restaurants in town. I know I've seen gluten-free options at many restaurants, but I don't think we have like a dedicated gluten-free restaurant. We do also have a little grocery store. It's up the hill, so you have to walk up the hill, but Rainbow Foods, and they do have gluten-free type options up there too. I'm sure you can find something, snacks and all sorts of things. But and then Foodland, the grocery store within walking distance of downtown, also would have gluten-free choices if you were looking for something to snack on. But what comes to mind is this amazing seafood that we have access to, and now we actually have a business in town that's producing greens. So you can have salad made from Juneau greens, and that's the name of the company. We have a local bakery. There are just lots of local foods. And in fact, again, I'll put in the plug for food tours and eating in our restaurants. I'm telling you, we've got some amazing food in this town, and it runs the gamut from Filipino to Indian to, just great
Really good
wild
pizza.
Alaska seafood. Oh, and some great pizza
Yeah,
places.
yeah,
Yeah, totally. Popcorn, even. I mean,
yeah.
we have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, nothing makes me more sad, and I hope I don't make anybody feel bad. Nothing makes me more sad than when people go on an Alaska cruise and I ask them where they ate and they just say the ship.
Yeah.
Because the ports in Alaska, there are incredibly good options within walking distance of every ship, every one of them.
Yes.
I will say for you, Chelsea, if you're watching this replay, I think increasingly Alaska as a whole is catering to a variety of dietary needs and restraints or restrictions, I should say. Like I am not, whenever anyone asks me, I'm vegetarian, I'm vegan, I'm halal, I'm kosher, I'm gluten-free, I'm dairy-free, whatever, I feel confident telling them. I don't know exactly, but I am confident that if you go to a big restaurant, like in a major community, you're not going to have a problem finding something amazing to eat because they get that people increasingly have those needs. And many Alaskan communities do have a heavy part of their economy be hospitality. So they understand they need to have that hospitality sector covered end to end. So I don't think you'll have a problem. You might not be able to eat a reindeer dog in a bun, but I'm sure you can find something else that's great.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And our visitor information people at the visitor center, if they don't know, they can find out, and they'll do the research. And I know they put together this last year. They have an entire restaurant guide that you can kind of flip through, and it's indexed, and they did an amazing job. But it just kind of shares with you all the different choices that you have, and there are so many. There's so many to choose from the little food truck park to the marine park where you've got your little Filipino food carts set up to, fine dining, to just your local Devil's Club Brewery where you can get jalapeno popcorn and amazing pizza on Wednesday nights. And I just learned yesterday, apparently they have a spectacular grilled cheese sandwich that comes with like beer cheese sauce for dipping.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Like, what? How did I not know that?
It's my favorite. Yep. I do know that. You can see pictures of it on my blog.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up here. I just want to say thank you again, Kristi, for joining me. And if you are watching and you still have a burning question that we did not answer, Kristi didn't cover it, we didn't ask it, just put it in the comments. If you're watching here on YouTube, we will get you that answer. And you'll also find down there the show description, which has links to Travel Juneau, a couple links to things that I have on my blog that might be very helpful for you, and just a bunch more information. I mean, I've been to Juneau several times. Kristi lives in Juneau. Between the two of us, we can get you an answer if we don't know. Like we don't know exactly the gluten-free options in town. One more time, I think that just about covers it. And again, Kristi, thank you so much for joining me and sharing all about Juneau today.
Thank you, Valerie. It's my favorite thing to do is share about Juneau. So we look forward to welcoming everybody.